Hi guys, I'm Kyungmi Kim at Korea Institute of Psychoeducation. Homosexuality itself is not a psychological disorder or problem, but the causes of a person developing a homosexual orientation can be problematic. The causes of men becoming homosexual are slightly different from the causes of women becoming homosexual. If a person's sexual orientation is formed as part of their natural psychological development, it's not so problematic. They can live their lives in the same healthy way as someone who loves the opposite sex. For men, the pursuit of more stimulating sexual pleasures can lead to homosexuality. Since men are relatively much more liberal than women when it comes to sexual behavior, sex between men is often much more explicit and liberating than other types of sex. And men who become homosexuals this way lead a highly sexually oriented life. This is usually the case for men who are voluntarily coming out, are active in the gay community, and are openly looking for partners. Male homosexuals who did not become homosexual as a result of seeking sexual pleasure tend to avoid revealing their homosexuality. Many female homosexuals, on the other hand, are driven to homosexuality by a trauma that they are unable to deal with. For example, if you were sexually abused by a man as a child, the mere sight of a man can be suffocating, and the only relationship you can breathe in is with women. Or if you were neglected by your parents and bleed as a child at the same time, the scars are enormous. When no one else cares about your wounds, you may find yourself falling in love with someone of the same sex who can easily empathize and comfort you. These are the types of female homosexuals we see most often. Women who don't have wounds and just happen to become homosexual in the process of their psychological development are the ones we don't see around as much because they don't easily expose their sexual orientation. In the case of a man who becomes homosexual as a result of pleasure seeking or of his relationship and value pursuits becoming nothing more than a means for having sex, he has a tremendous desire for sex, which in turn leads to a tremendous amount of stress, which he is not good at handling. A female homosexual who is driven to homosexuality by many and deep wounds naturally has to live with a tremendous number of wounds. When wounds affect women, they cause symptoms such as anxiety, obsession, irritability, depression, and dependency, so female homosexuals who have become homosexuals due to severe wounds almost certainly have these symptoms, making their lives and lives of people around them difficult. In these cases, both male and female homosexuals become very narrow-minded because the biggest factor in their lives is sexual pleasure or psychological wounds. This leads us to think that homosexuals have problems, but it's not the homosexuality itself that's the problem, but it's the abnormal sex drive, the pursuit of sexual pleasure, and the overwhelming wounds. This can also apply to heterosexuals, but the distortion of homosexuality seems to be more pronounced since homosexuals are viewed with prejudice in society more than other people. On the other hand, there are people who naturally become homosexual without excessive sexual pleasure seeking or excessive wounds. These people usually live their lives without revealing their sexual orientation to the outside world, and if they happen to fall in love with someone of the same sex, they can be just as healthy and happy as their heterosexual counterparts. It's not the homosexuality that needs to be addressed, it's the excessive pursuit of sexual pleasure and the effect of excessive wounds, which also applies to heterosexuals as it does for homosexuals. Once their psychological conditions are restored, anyone can live a healthy and happy life. Also, it is possible to change from homosexuality to heterosexuality if that is what the person wants. There are many heterosexuals who have problems mentioned above. The bottom line is that there is no need to be prejudiced against homosexuals or to have unreasonable rejection of them.